It's on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bill Has Opinions, the Gen X problem with a drinking show. I am Laura Lavoie, and I'm here with Bill Perkins, who has opinions.
I do,
Welcome.
yes.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, welcome to our spring show.
So we always say we're funnier when we've been drinking.
We've been drinking.
It's
been a thing.
I hung out with the neighbors before the show, and I was like, I should probably save it for the show. And they were like, no, I have some beers. I'm like,
have a
okay. So I did.
I drove up. She was on the neighbor's porch, and they were like, "Hey!"
And I was already my second beer in at that point.
Yeah, so she's actually ahead of me. I gotta catch up with her.
So
yeah.
One of us will be funnier.
Well, I don't know, but I'm like I was telling her before. I'm on a diet, so I haven't eaten a whole lot today. Therefore, the beers should kick in quickly.
That's fair. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Bill. As always, how are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, things are all right. Weather's moderately pleasant aside from the windiness we were noticing.
It is officially the first day of spring, right?
Right.
So,
and we're in March, which comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb.
Or sometimes.
Sometimes. I don't know.
So it is not quite my birthday yet. My birthday is next week. We'll have another show in between, but I know that I was born in a blizzard and it's March 29th.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be born in a blizzard at the end of March. Shouldn't happen.
I don't know. Like, but it'll snow anytime, like until Easter, really, right?
Oh yeah,
kinda.
Well, especially the Midwest, it'll snow anytime until May.
But it doesn't down here. Actually, we get more snow. I think, like the late snap snow. We get more of that than we do like a good January snow.
I think, it's funny because we had snow a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago, whatever it was, and. Like, I saw it on, I posted it. Everybody's posting, oh, it snowed. Everybody's taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then my memories was literally every year was, oh, that's a lot of snow today. That's a lot of snow today. So I'm like, apparently we shouldn't be surprised.
Right. Like, quit being like, well, oh my God, I can't believe it snowed on, the second week of March. It's what it does.
That is what it does. All right.
We actually got very little snow at my house. It like dusting.
Yeah, it was a weird, like the way it went up.
Yeah, it was a dusting, but it was cold. It was cold as hell. It was like, and it was, yeah. I probably lost some tropical plants out on my greenhouse room that got like cold out there. I just kind of. I don't even give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, at this point,
I just buy new plants. It's whatever. I'll replace them. Whatever.
All right. So I suppose since I've already been drinking, we should talk about the beers we're drinking.
Oh, I guess so.
What you got?
I'm currently on these. Did I talk about this last week?
Yeah, we had some of these last week.
Ruby Red Bird.
I get the hiccups already.
95 calories and only 3.1 carbs. But it tastes like a ginger ale with a little bit of a splash of pink grapefruit juice in it.
It has a flavor.
It doesn't taste anything like beer. It actually tastes like I said, more like ginger ale with some. It's funny. It'll sneak up on you if you drink them, because you're like, oh, it's just like, tastes like ginger ale and juice, and then next thing you know, you're like, woo. So
right,
kind of funny.
And what we will, so it's kind of a teaser for next week's episode, because next week we're going to have one of our beer episodes. We haven't had one in a while.
Yeah.
And the thing that we're both kind of doing right now are like the low-cal, low-carb beers. So no spoilers, but we'll probably talk more about that next week, as well as what I'm drinking. All right. So this has a little story to it.
Yeah.
Today is Oberon Day, which is Bell's Brewing, their famous wheat beer.
Right.
And it's Oberon Day. This is a time of year where it gets released every year. And I went everywhere in town. Now, granted, we don't live in Michigan, right? But I went everywhere in town.
But it's a popular beer.
Yeah, it's a very popular beer. And it's a national, people know what it is.
Right.
And you know why they know what it is?
Why?
So it comes from Michigan. But what I did find was Low Sun, which is their low-cal wheat ale. So it's basically a low-cal Oberon.
Yeah.
And it's fucking delicious.
It's really good. I will say, I feel like it's a tad hoppier than Oberon is. Like something about like trying to low-cal it, like taking a a little of the wheat flavor down.
Yeah.
And it's brought the hops up a tad.
But we'll talk about it more next week because
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
save a bottle specifically for next
Sure.
week. But I really wanted a freaking Oberon, which leads me to my second to then. Well, not my second. I've had plenty. But in searching for Oberon, we bought this Citrus Rescue because it's an orangey beer, right?
Right.
But this we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? Where it's New Belgium has just like their marketing.
They're off the rocker. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what, like, I mean, I was saying to Matt, like, they make a good beer, but like branding wise, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with, like, they can't stick to a thing.
Right. They have a different citrus IPA that they call Citradelic.
It's a whole line.
And then they have a whole line of Citradelic.
Yeah, it's not just one citrus IPA. They got like 3 or 4 flavors of it. And then they came out with this, which I saw sometime at the end of last summer. And I was like, the fuck is that all about? Like, you already got a citrus line. Like, what? Yeah. Anyway, these guys.
Yeah,
like,
that may be true. Yeah, beer. Here's the thing about breweries.
Yeah.
You are not sober if you work at a brewery. That's just a fact of life.
Do you think they ever give you like a pee test at the brewery? Like, oh my God, you're drunk.
Oh no, not that, but I do actually have a story of a local Asheville brewery where somebody had a workplace accident. And according to like OSHA, you have to drug test everyone who has a workplace accident. They're like, no, that's fine. We're just going to pay your workers' comp. Like, we're not even good because they know it's Asheville, man. Everyone's high.
Oh yeah, no, it's Asheville. I've actually had that, like. I've seen that happen too, where people have just been like, Jesus Christ, like,
no, we know,
like it's because like we don't want to lose an employee, like it's too much hassle, honestly.
Exactly. All right, so actually, I looked at I've had too much drinking for this shit. So our show today is about flowers. As you can see, we're both adorned florally.
Yes.
But I looked at my list and I thought it said Flowers Minogue, like that's a person.
No, Flowers Minogue.
Good old Flowers Minogue, like he's in the Irish Mafia.
Oh, I thought Flowers Minogue was a popular Australian pop artist.
That's the problem with drinking. We are funnier when we've been drinking, but only to ourselves.
Right.
So, all right. So let's just dive into it, right, Bill? We've got some flowers. We want to talk about flowers,
right?
Because it's spring, man.
Let me start with this though. It's getting serious for me.
A recitation.
Yes. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on higher vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. That was by William Wordsworth. That's called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. I was actually surprised when I told you about this poem that was the name of it, and it wasn't just called Daffodils.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think I knew that either, right?
I thought it was just called the Daffodils.
Yeah, and I started out as an English major. Yeah, I thought it was just called the Daffodils. But it's a lovely poem, and daffodils are my favorite flowers.
I love this. I love this. There's 2 lines in here that I love, and this is the reason I wanted to read it. I like the part where they says tossing their heads in sprightly dance, and then I also like the part where it says where does it say something about in such jocund company. I love that line. I don't know why. It's just
good line.
Really paints a picture.
Good line. This is our flowers episode that's all about poetry. But I think right. So flowers are a muse for a lot of like floral poetry we could have probably.
I could have just read poetry
hundreds
the whole
of-
damn time. Yeah.
Actually, that would be its own fun. That would be like when Andy Kaufman just stood on stage and read The Great Gatsby. It would make no sense to anyone. People would walk out, but we'd be amused.
We'd think it was hilarious.
I mean, I think that's hilarious. To be fair. All right.
And then Laura, she liked this poem, which is called "Afternoon on the Hill" by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I will be the gladdest thing under the sun. I will touch 100 flowers and not pick one. I will look at cliffs and clouds with quiet eyes. Watch the wind bow down the grass and the grass rise. And when the lights begin to show up from the town, I will mark which must be mine and then start down.
Oh yeah, poetry, man.
Poetry.
Yeah.
But flowers is as she says, the muse for these poems.
Yeah, I think I've always loved that poem. I remember when I was.
Oh man, I got one more. It's roses are red and violets are blue. And then you can say whatever you want.
Anything after that, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, literally. But yeah, no, that poem. When I was in like catechism, which is the Catholic. When you're not in Catholic school, you attend catechism. So it's like it's school. It's after school for Catholics. If you're not in Catholic school,
it's penance for something.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Right?
But I remember every kid, because this was before our first communion, so we would have been like 6, 7. I don't fucking know. I have no idea anymore. I was Catholic. I don't care. But at one point, like every kid had to bring in a prayer to say at the beginning of class. And I brought that poem once, and I guess that's why I'm taking.
And they didn't hit you in the hand with a ruler? Or something?
No, but
I
guess I must
get the fuck out of here with your poems.
I must have been older than that. I don't remember how old I was. I guess I was like a preteen or something. But my mom was an English teacher for a little while, and she had a bunch of books of poetry. And I was like, I need to find a prayer to bring. And she's like, look at these books of poetry. And I'm like, okay. And it never occurred to me before that poetry is a form of prayer, right?
Kind of. Yeah, when you think about it.
Sure.
I suppose so. I never really, But I get you. I get what you're saying.
And Edna St. Vincent Millay is one of my favorites, and she actually has a lot of very fine poems. But this one, okay. But we're not doing a poetry episode, right?
But we oughta.
We should, actually. I give you that.
Just add it to the list. It's
All
like a thing we'll do one day.
We shall. Okay, here's one. Let's find. I was looking for the most floral of our friends to pitch.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with this, right?
Okay.
So it's that time of the episode, right?
Yeah, where we do our pitch.
Yeah, to just random people that we like. But my sister does Colors of Kindness, which you can check out. I keep forgetting to put up her website, so
there you go.
up.
Yeah, now people can actually order this stuff.
She'll do lots of floral cards at all seasons for you.
Yeah.
But they're original design watercolor cards, and they're very pretty. So I highly recommend checking them out. And that's all I have to say about that. So go buy my sister's cards. She will appreciate it. She's a teacher, so they don't make a lot of money.
Yeah, this is how she pays for the school supplies.
This is her side gig because she's a teacher.
She's gotta have a side hustle.
Yeah, everyone does. So all right. Well, we've paid bills or whatever.
Well, not really, but
no.
All right.
All right. So let's talk about flowers. What do you want to talk about flowers?
I mean,
we're looking very floral. I do appreciate that we both put effort into this.
Right? Yeah, you said floral, and I was like, oh, I'll put on that crazy rose shirt I bought that I don't have,
This was the most floral shirt. It's actually a goat's head, and it actually doesn't have any flowers, but it's all, you can't tell that. It's all flamingos and skulls. It's plants, flamingos, and skulls.
Okay, yeah.
But it's Scofflaw Brewing, and they're out of.
All right. Atlanta. So flowers. What's currently blooming in your yard?
One hyacinth.
One hyacinth. Is it a grape hyacinth or a regular hyacinth?
I don't know. It's pink.
Pink. Does it look lacy, or does it look like a group of grapes? I guess.
No, it looks more lacy, like little
so
clump of flowers.
Regular hyacinth.
Yeah, regular hyacinth.
Because grape hyacinths are the ones that like little clump of grapes coming out of the ground.
That'd be cool.
You never seen those?
No,
they're honestly kind of pitiful. They're not like, they sound cool, but they're not cool. Like you plant them and then you're like, that's some weak sauce. That's a dumb plant.
So I have to admit, I'm not very good at I'm not good at gardening.
Oh, okay.
So this, in fact, in front of our house is a bunch of weeds have come up. But we have this one hyacinth that's been there since we bought the house. And like we plant things around it. I think we've tried to dig it up, but you can't dig up a bulb. Like if you chop up a bulb, you get more bulbs.
yeah. They're like planarians, right?
So it's just been there, and I took a picture of it, posted it on Instagram today. So if you follow me on Instagram,
so we got a couple of daffodils blooming in the yard right now.
I do have a daffodil in the back.
You have a daffodil in the back. Okay.
Yes.
I've had several. I need to move some others. You know, the lady who I bought, who built the house and passed away. I need to move. She had some daffodils around right around the edge of the woods in places, and I need to dig them up and move them to somewhere sunny because I was reading that if they don't get enough sunshine, they won't bloom. Like I can tell they're daffodils, but they don't bloom. Is what I'm saying. And
right.
So if they don't get enough energy during the year, they don't have the wherewithal to make blooms in the spring. So only the ones that are in direct sunlight bloom, and the rest of the ones that are all over the fucking yard, they just like pop up like grass. But you know it's a daffodil. You can tell, like, right. You look at it, you're like, that's a daffodil leaf with no damn blooms. So I need to dig them all up, move them to somewhere more, I got one little spot in the yard. Like I got about like a 20-foot spot that gets sunlight where the daffodils need to go.
Perfect.
Oh, the other thing that's blooming in my yard right now, it's a bush plant, not actually a little flower, but camellia bush.
Oh, yeah.
That's blooming.
Yeah, we have an azalea. It's not blooming yet, obviously. Oh, and we have mountain laurel, which won't bloom until summer.
Oh, yeah. No.
But that is, I love the mountain laurel.
No, I love mountain laurels. We've got loads of those, but yeah, that's not what's blooming.
That's a summer.
Now.
That's a summer flower.
That's almost late summer at our house.
Yeah, you're just south enough of us. Ours comes up somewhere in the summer, but
yeah, no, I got but the camellia, we just planted that last year. I think I got it. Gosh, I got it somewhere. I feel like I got it on closeout or something. Like it was like we were somewhere, and it was like one of those clearance bushes, and I was like, right. I'll take that, whatever.
Sure.
I put it up beside the house. The thing that's funny about camellias, I don't know if anybody's got any, but they have a beautiful bloom, except for the problem is they tend to bloom actually in the wintertime. And they bloom, and then as soon as they bloom, the blooms get burnt by the frost.
Right.
And so
they're just brown.
Yeah. To catch them in there, like when they're pretty, is like a short window. They're like avocados from a discount store.
Exactly. Exactly. So daffodils are probably my favorite flower. They are also the birth flower of March. So I happen to like them.
Yeah.
But we have up at our tiny house at our land up about 45 minutes north of here. I set up a statue. It's actually a Persephone statue, and we planted daffodils like at her base.
Yeah.
And I thought deers would eat them, to be honest, like just the bulbs.
I think they're poisonous to deer. Actually.
Are they? I thought they'd be
like
gone.
I've read that somewhere.
But they've come up every year since, and we actually put when our beloved cat Piglet died, we got a rock with her name on it. Right? We set it because that was October. Well, when we planted the rock, it was October. We just set the rock in front of the Persephone statue. Turns out it's right in the middle of fucking daffodils. Oh. So then every year this rock and then daffodils come up. It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I like it.
I like daffodils, and here's the funny thing I like about daffodils too, is fucking daffodils. Like this will happen in the wintertime. You'll usually get this like it'll snow and then there'll be like a warm snap. I mean, fucking daffodils are the worst.
Like,
the worst to fool with that shit because they're like, oh, well, it's warm, let's bloom.
Yep.
And then they're like,
and then it snows.
And then it snows. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the plant that gets fooled the quickest is fucking daffodils.
I think crocuses too.
Crocuses actually are supposed to bloom in the snow. I think.
True.
So they don't really because it doesn't phase them. They don't get burnt by it or anything. They're just like, yeah, whatever. We're crocuses. We're tough.
Yeah.
That's why there's a metal band called Crocus because they're tough as fuck.
That's fair. The toughest fucking flowers. So I personally absolutely adore bulb flowers.
Yeah.
Partially because you plant
them once, they keep coming.
That's it. They keep coming forever.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to. We have two little spots in front of our house And one year we'll get around to this because obviously right now is not the time to plant it. But I want to do literally just a bulb garden. So with a bunch of different bulbs that come up at different times, right? So you've got daffodils, crocus, the hyacinth, we can plant more. Tulips aren't my favorite, but I might plant them because and irises are one of my other favorites. Yeah. They come up in the summer, or lilies, right? So that all year long there are these sweet flowers that bloom.
Sure.
That's what I want to do.
All right. That's fair. You know, I like the same, because bulbs are, as you call them, perennials, which means you plant them once and then they come up forever.
And literally, like, you try to destroy them, even if you dig them up, you probably don't
dig up if you don't get them all, you're going to give them again.
And if you chop them up, you get 100 times as many.
Right.
They all keep growing.
I'll say, in addition to that, the thing I love, what's easier even than perennial bulbs is any perennial plant that is also native to the area you live in.
Yes.
Because and sometimes me and my wife fight a little bit about this because she doesn't love the things that are native to our area. She's like the kind of person where she'll see some crazy shit that came from Australia or something and go, oh my God, I want those. And I'm like, that's not from here. It's like, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I love native plants.
Native plants, though, you plant them. Like, here's the deal. If it grows in the ditch bank, it will grow in your yard and with fucking zero effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that's the thing is I want to plant shit and not worry about it. I don't want to fucking coddle it. I don't want to have to remember. I don't have to remember like what day of March I'm specifically supposed to go out and pet it and tell it it's a nice plant, whatever the fuck. Like,
you should always do that on the 29th of March.
The 29th of March, you should go out and pet your plants.
Tell it's a nice plant.
And a smart.
You're a smart plant.
And a smart plant.
Yes, we love you. That's what you should. That's what I've always tried to make the day a national holiday. I think that's the one it should be. Stroke your plants day.
But I don't have time for that bullshit. Like I love plants that grow. You know what my favorite wild plants around here that you can plant in your yard and it'll grow and it'll just fucking take over. But it's also beautiful. I mean, they're very small flowers, but it's called spiderwort, which is not a very attractive sounding name. But it grows about, gosh damn, it's almost like 2 feet tall, and it's got like these beautiful bright indigo flowers on it. Okay, you guys can look that up. I should have told Laura ahead of time to have some slides or something.
Yeah, we didn't make any slides.
Spiderwort. Sometimes people call it Virginia spiderwort. I think there's also a variety called Ohio spiderwort.
Oh, they can fuck Ohio.
Yeah, fuck Ohio, man. The Virginia spiderwort's the jam. Now, I don't know which kind we got around here. I don't know. I dug some up in the ditch bank.
I would assume we have North Carolina spider.
No, they don't call it that. It's either Virginia or Ohio.
Well,
it both grow in the Appalachian region. I don't know if it matters. It's a pretty plant, and if you plant some of it, you'll have. It's like peppermint. Like if you plant it in your yard, you'll have it. Like it won't go anywhere. You're gonna have it.
Right.
But I love shit like that. Columbine's also a mountain plant that grows very well around here. Not everywhere. Now columbines are actually. I'm trying to decide. Are they perennial? They're not really. I don't know if they're a bulb plant or not. Or
I actually don't know if they are.
But they seed out like a motherfucker. Like they throw seeds everywhere. They have so many seeds, and they're like the size of poppy seeds. They're little tiny little seeds. But if you plant one, bam, it'll make a pile of them. You'll keep having them. You don't have to like whether or not it's a perennial, it will be back. Okay. There's a couple things like that. There are annuals that do that, just seed out like crazy. And so then basically, if you plant them in this spot, you'll have them forever. You know.
Right.
But I look.
That's what we have been doing in our little, like, right in front of our house. We just planting annuals because we don't want to do all the work. We just want to put something in that's pretty and let it be pretty until it dies. And then put something else in that's pretty.
I see.
And let it be pretty until it dies.
Yeah.
It's like I also love mums. Like I love the shit
now,
out of
mums will come back if you treat them right.
I just never do.
You haven't had any luck.
Apparently very bad at mums.
I think you have to bury the roots a little bit. Them and those Gerber daisies that everybody, the big bright Gerber daisies you buy at the grocery store. If you plant those in the ground, as long as the roots don't get frozen, they will come back up also.
Oh, wow. Apparently I'm not good at it.
Mums are the same way. If you cut them back down to the ground and maybe throw some straw or mulch or some shit over them. Then like next spring, they actually bloom twice a year, spring and fall.
Right. Yeah, we usually put them in at fall.
Yeah. A lot of people use it because there's like some fall colors. There's like
Yeah.
some burgundies and oranges. And,
That's what I like about them.
you know. But if you get the bright yellow ones, they're good for both. Boom. You know what I'm saying? They got
Yeah,
white.
that's true.
White and bright yellow would be good for either season, I would say. Yeah, there's one in my yard that the lady planted over the edge of the yard, a mum that keeps coming back. So anyway,
Okay.
those are that's one of those ones where, like I said, it just depends on how you treat it. If you protect it, I think it'll survive the winter in these parts. I don't know, maybe not up in Michigan or somewhere.
Yeah, maybe not. We did a cool thing. So when we lived in Michigan, the house that we did because we didn't know what we were doing as far as gardening. So we had a decent sized yard, not huge, bigger than our current yard, but it had like a flower bed, I guess we call them, like already set up. But we didn't know how to do anything, so we actually took a bunch of like pots and buried them, like in a few strategic places, and then did pebbles all around them, and then we planted different things in the pots. So it made it a little easier to tend.
Yeah.
We also planted at that time I wanted a holly bush like more than anything in my entire life. We planted a holly, and my mother told me that we would never get red berries because we didn't plant two or whatever. Like we did.
What?
But yeah, apparently because the male female blah 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 But man, we had the best holly bush. It was a great fucking bush.
It's crazy to me though that you had to plant a fucking hollies grow wild here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got hollies. Like you want a holly? I get you a fucking holly.
I would love a holly.
I get you a holly by by 3:00 this afternoon with green paint.
I would love a fucking holly.
Like, no, we got like hollies at the wazoo. I dig up hollies and get them out of my fucking.
They're not really flowers, but I do love them. But they're evergreen.
No, I get you. There's something to a holly bush for sure, but they don't flower. We're talking about flowers today.
Yeah. All right. So I guess
we didn't really go into depth on irises yet. I want to talk about those briefly.
I love me some fucking
There's
irises.
so many varieties. First off,
yeah.
My grandmother had oh my gosh, she has some beautiful fucking irises. I've actually got one or two that I moved from my grandmother's house to my mother's house. And I need to go dig one or two of them up out of her yard and bring them to my yard. So the house I moved into has got irises, and it's got 2 or 3 kinds. It's got Russian irises. It's got some Dutch irises. Dutch are the big ones, right? The ones that are like this big.
You sure? I don't know. I like the pretty purple ones.
And then there's the little Japanese ones that are like this.
Oh, yes. I've seen those.
That are tall. And those are usually closer to the water.
Yeah.
Like almost, yeah.
Yeah, we have a bunch of irises. Up at the tiny house, we have a bunch of irises that grow like along the creek.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing.
We got a pile of them in my house, but I think they're mostly either white or purple. My grandmother had some beautiful ones that were like either yellow, like bright yellow. She had one. My favorite one that she had was actually rust colored.
Ooh, I would love that.
Yeah, it was like the bloom on it was rust colored.
Yeah, because the ones up at the tiny house are yellow. The ones that grow by the water.
Okay. And I've got some tall like Japanese style ones, like the water ones, that are like a dark purple. But I like how different they all are. Like,
I agree.
Irises like have a huge fucking variety, and it's neat to see how many different colors they come in. And it's one of those things I enjoy when I go to like botanical gardens. And irises bloom around Easter time. Mm-hmm. If you go,
well, some of them, iris. The best part about irises is they bloom through like starting at Easter time through the summer, depending on which iris you've got.
Right.
That's what I love about them.
But also, it's crazy how many different kinds there are. That's neat.
I agree. They're one of my favorites.
And you know what? The crazy thing also about irises is they need very little care. Aside from like every like 5th year or so, you might want to dig them up and split them up a little.
Yeah, spread them out
because they get clumpy. That's probably the worst thing that'll happen to them. Other than that, give them some. You want to throw some like fish meal or something on them every couple of years, just to give them some vitamins so they'll keep blooming. If you ever notice that your irises stop blooming, they just need some just throw some meal on them and do it in the fall actually, and then in the spring they'll bloom again.
Yeah, we had a bunch of irises in our house in Atlanta that were there when we moved in, and I just because we didn't do shit to them. Like we moved in and we're like, oh look, irises.
They're pretty trouble free. I've got irises that are actually sitting on top of the fucking ground. Like you can just throw them over in the corner of the yard and they won't die. Like they don't need to be buried even. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
They really don't.
They'll deal with it. They're fine.
It's funny because their roots look like ginger roots, kind of like they're big, huge, tuber-looking things. Just they'll hoop, and they'll just do whatever. If they can catch a little moisture from something, they're good. Whatever. They grow in hard red clay, which is why you see them in southern yards so much, because our soil down here, for the most part, is shit.
Right, yeah. So like in Georgia especially.
Yeah.
We didn't have
it's just hard red clay, but man, irises will grow in anything, like sand, clay. They don't give a shit,
Right. All right, so I think we did cover a lot of our favorite flowers. I like daisies. They're pretty. Right?
Yeah, daisies are perennials too. If you plant they're a bulb plant. You can plant them from the seed, and they'll grow into bulbs. And then, but yeah, I mentioned the Gerber daisies too, which I said you buy usually like a they come in like all these rainbow colors.
It's almost a novelty, right? Like they'll grow for you, but they're kind of sold as a novelty.
Yeah, because they come in like hot pink and yellow,
bright orange,
all kinds of crazy. But they're beautiful, and if you if you plant them, as long as you cover them in the wintertime so that their roots don't freeze, they'll come back up.
Right.
Like I said, down here we're in zone 7, by the way.
I have no fucking idea. That's
we're
good
in
to know.
zone 7. Yes,
that's good to know.
We're just inside of zone 7. Zone 8 is in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. We're in a weird part of the country for a lot of things because Appalachia is kind of like part of it is Canadian tundra, and part of it is a tropical rainforest.
It's really weird. It does make it tricky. And I grew up in zone 8, so I'm used to zone 8 plants, and so it was a big shift for me, like realizing what I can and can't do here that I could. Now, so like you could grow tulips here,
right?
Whereas where I grew up, tulips, fuck you. Tulips don't like that. It's too fucking hot for tulips. However, so I'll say this, a year or two ago, me and Emily were, when was this? I guess it was last year. Yeah, it was probably last spring. We went to Athens, Georgia for a weekend. And we had a great time. And the jasmine was blooming. It smelled so fucking good.
Yeah.
This is a particular, it's not Carolina jasmine, which is yellow. This was it was a white jasmine. And it's whatever they use to make perfumes and stuff. It smelled so good. Well, we wanted to buy one to put in our yard, but I looked at it and it was like, it was strictly a zone 8. Like, don't put this in zone 7. It won't grow.
Right. And yeah. Living in Georgia for a long time, I know that a lot of stuff. Like there were a few things in our house that I would have loved to have brought up to the mountain when we moved.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have lived.
Yeah.
Actually, my coworkers bought me. It was some sort of plant. I can't tell you to this day what it was. But my going away present was some sort of plant, and I planted it next to the tiny house and. Within 6 months, it was dead, which I think is a metaphor for my job. Yeah. To be honest.
Well, so here's a lovely. I'm gonna talk about a lovely flower that you can grow in like zones 8 or 9 that you can't grow in zone 7, which is the hibiscus. The hibiscus.
Well, Jim, we can get some of them because we get the Rose of Sharon in here.
Rose of Sharon, which is a type of hibiscus. You're right. That'll grow wild here.
Oh yeah, that'll grow like
if you got one Rose of Sharon, you got 17.
We've got a whole bunch right out here.
I need to grab one from you because I actually love those.
I do too.
Now, do you have purple or white or
pink and white?
Pink and white. Okay. Yeah, no, so I love those. Yeah, they're a hardy hibiscus. That's the cold weather hibiscus. But the saucer size ones
that you associate with like Hawaii
or Florida.
Yeah,
you can't have those here. Fuck that. Like those, if you see them in somebody's yard, that's a plant that they have. As you said, they've got a pot in the yard, and then they pull it up and they take it back in the house in the wintertime because it won't winter here.
Yeah.
But the Rose of Sharon, which will grow here,
I'll claim that as a tiki enthusiast. I'll claim our Rose of Sharon. Like,
they're
okay with that. They're pretty.
I think the purple ones are beautiful. Like they've got like a lavender bloom, and then towards the center, it goes into like a blood red.
Yeah. Those are really
fucking cool. Oh my god, those are so beautiful.
No, but you're welcome to it because if you
No, I'm aware. I'm aware. Whenever you see one rose of Sharon, you see a pile of them.
Oh, yeah.
They take over.
Yeah, they're on the side of our house over here. They were here long before we were.
Right.
And I want to move because we're building a tiki bar in our backyard, and I want to
move
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the backyard has the same light as the side of the house.
This is the thing. Oh my God! Speaking of flowers and shit, like this is one of those things I've learned. I used to be obsessed when I was younger. I lived in a house and I wanted to grow. I had a fence, and I wanted to get sweet pea to climb the fence.
Right.
And I kept trying to plant it every year. And then I finally started paying attention, and I realized that sweet peas grow kind of where they want to fucking like. And I started paying attention to it, and I realized that there was like a certain side of a yard that they'll grow on. And I kept trying to plant them on this fence, and it was on the wrong side of the yard. So if I would have planted them on the other side of the yard, they would climb the fence. They were on that side of the, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want a certain exposure, and if you don't plant them on that side of the yard, you can just forget it. Like they're pitiful. You know?
So I got to take a quick break here to talk about this citrus rescue.
Yeah.
This is the most fucking, like, this is insanely clementine. Like, I've just eaten 7 clementines.
Yeah.
Like, this is insanely citrus.
Like, you drink it and you go, oh, my darling.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, yeah, like, you know the cuties?
Yeah.
I
just
cuties,
ate a whole,
right?
Oh, my God, you get cuties. They're like candy.
Because they're easy to peel because they're, like, they kind of marketed toward children. They're teeny tiny. And, yeah, this tastes like just a mouthful of clementine.
Like you ate a box of cuties.
Mm-hmm. I don't hate it, but it's very, very, very orange.
Yeah.
Very orange.
Do you feel like you rescued a whole bunch of citrus?
I do kind of feel like I rescued a whole bunch of citrus. Orange flowers are lovely.
Orange flowers are lovely. And you know what else is lovely? I've got this thing in my yard called a mock orange, which is to say it looks like an orange flower, but it doesn't have oranges. Have you heard of this?
No, but I'm here for it.
All right. Well, I have to take a picture of it. It'll bloom in another couple weeks here, and I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Well, with our tiki bar, I would love to plant a lot more like tropical looking.
Yeah,
I don't even need fruit. I just want flowers to make it look pretty.
Well, there you go. Mock orange. That'd be a good. You wrote that down, didn't you?
I did. I wrote it down. I will. Yeah, you'll literally throw this away after tonight and forget about it. But that's okay.
Well. So sorry. I need to back up and I need to mention this at the start, but like my whole Instagram is probably 90% flowers, right? Like, it's a few other things.
It really is mostly.
It's
like,
mostly.
You want plants and bugs? Follow Bill on Instagram.
That's all I take pictures of. It's like I see a cool bug or a pretty flower. But 90% of it's my yard. Like sometimes it's if I go, because when we travel, we always go to our botanical garden. That's like a thing we'll do.
I like
if we're out of state, we're going to go to a botanical garden. But
there's one in Michigan that's really nice.
Yeah, I love them. They're awesome. But I will say also, like my part of it is my fascination with like I said, because I moved from zone 8 to zone 7. And I also moved from a coastal area to the mountains.
Oh, yeah, that makes a difference, too.
Everything's fucking different where I live now. And sometimes I'll see shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is crazy as hell. Like, so where I grew up at, like, if I go back to, like, the coastal area of South Carolina, I could tell you everything we tripped over in the forest, I can tell you what that is. I know what it is. I grew up with it. I know what it is. Here, sometimes I see shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this crazy thing? I don't know what this is. This is blowing my damn mind. You know, so I buy a lot of plant books and stuff, and then we actually inherited a bunch of plant books because the lady in my house from left like an entire library.
Plants and witchcraft.
Herbalism and witchcraft, which is kind of the same shit. Overlap, you know.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
It's a great, any of you witchy viewers, it's got a great resource. Library. It's pretty amazing.
But, you know, anyway, I'm learning my way around mountain plants now. That's a thing. There's stuff I know a lot about now because I see a lot of it, but then there's stuff that I still see that blows my mind. And I'm like, that's crazy. Whatever the fuck that thing is. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not, like, I appreciate a flower, but I don't know anything about them. Like, I look at it and say, I either say that's really pretty or that's really ugly, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are, but we have 15 acres of mountain.
Yeah.
And there are some crazy things that grow up there. And every once in a while, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but it's really pretty. And or it's not. We have a lot of jewelweed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know jewelweed was so pretty. Like it's
got a pretty flower on it, but it also will help cure your poison ivy.
It will, which I am also very much allergic to poison ivy. And I learned
if you see the jewelweed,
then there's the poison ivy.
There's poison ivy probably right next to it, right?
Like I've never actually used the jewelweed for that purpose.
Here's the cause of and the solution to your problem.
Exactly. But it's a really, really pretty flower. Like
it's got a pretty like orange, yellow sort of.
We get a lot of hummingbirds because of them. Like the hummingbirds love the shit out of the jewelweed.
I didn't know they loved, but that's.
It makes sense because they're almost like a little orchid flower, right? Because they got the little cup and the little leaves.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, you guys got an orchid, right?
I did just buy. I bought a discount orchid at Lowe's yesterday because they were neglecting.
Literally rescued an orchid.
Yeah, orchid rescue. No, they were neglecting it, and I've been wanting an orchid for a while, so it was half price. So we were like, shit, yeah. No, I was gonna say, because you mentioned whatever you just mentioned, jewelweed. Oh, you said it would look like an orchid.
It's got a little orchid.
Now I'm trying to remember where my train of thought was going. Oh, damn.
Derailed you. This is what happens when we drink too much before the show.
All right, maybe I'll come back to whatever it was.
All right,
now I remember what it was. Oh, there's a beautiful plant that grows on my property called the lady slipper. Have you ever seen one of those?
Oh, yeah, those are really cool.
Now, it's bright pink. It looks like a vagina almost. I mean, literally. I'm not fucking around. Speaking of which.
We actually said that, I didn't put this down, but we said that we needed to give an honorary mention.
Oh, yeah, I need to talk about George O'Keeffe, one of my favorite artists, who did nothing pretty much. I mean, she did some other stuff besides flowers, but 90% of her stuff was flowers.
And then sometimes animal skulls.
And sometimes
and mostly flowers.
But mostly flowers. And then the reason I wanted to bring it up is because she caught a lot of shit because people would say, oh, that looks like it looks very, vaginal or whatever. All the flowers that she would do, they were like, oh, this is about sex. This is about sex. She'd be like, oh no, it's not about sex. She was one of those people who's like her and Amy Tan. And one of these days I want to do a show just about people like artists who don't understand that you don't control the art once it leaves you.
Yeah, but sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, right? Like
you want to say that, say they pipe.
But yeah, no, she was
like she was adamant that her work was not about sex. And then the funny thing about it is, it's a fucking flower.
But that's the whole point of a flower.
It's the point of a flower.
It's
the sexual organ of a goddamn plant. Like that's the plant's genitals. Mm-hmm. Like you can't say it's not about sex. You just you painted the plant's genitals. Like maybe you just didn't mean for it to be taken like that. But I get. But people aren't wrong.
No.
Exactly. And again, I'm a fan of the idea. Like I think once the art leaves you,
people have
it's up to interpretation, and they can get whatever the fuck they want out of it. And you shouldn't get mad about it. And one of these days, I want to do a show about this. George O'Keeffe, Amy Tan, and the Toadies. They're three of my big examples of people who got.
I mean, there's also small examples too, like R.E.M. Right, their song "Losing My Religion." What it was written about or what people think it's about are two very, very different things.
Okay, well, let's just put that down. Like misinterpretation of art. I'll let be an episode one day, and we'll just go through that. I don't want to get too derailed here. So we're talking about flowers right now.
I mean, which we can easily get derailed about. All right, so let's ask the important question. We've talked a lot about favorite flowers. Do you have a least favorite flower or a group of least favorite flowers or a lot of least favorite flowers?
The fucking things that what are these that go in your lapel?
Carnation?
Yeah, those are shitty.
Yeah, they are shitty flowers.
My wife calls them death flowers. So goddamn, if you give her a bouquet of flowers and it's mostly carnations, she gets irritated. She's like, those are fucking funeral flowers. I don't want those.
I mean, she's not wrong. They were also in high school because they were the cheap flowers, right? Like if you, we would do the Valentine's thing where you could buy a flower for somebody.
A rose was like $5, or a carnation.
We didn't even get the option for a rose. It was just carnations.
Just carnations.
That's all you got.
Oh, okay. But we had both. We had two levels, and it was like you want to spend a little more, you can get her a rose, or you can get her a shitty carnation for $3.
Yeah, which is a shitty thing to do to teenagers, right? Because everyone's expecting it. But you mentioned the rose, and I have to admit, I do not love roses.
Really?
I do not love them.
Is it because they really smell like poo poo, or is it because some say love is like a river.
Yes, and also every rose does have its thorns.
That is true.
And every cowboy has a sad song. Yes, no, I don't, and I think the reason I don't love roses, maybe if I grew them, maybe if I understood gardening and would grow them.
I will say roses are difficult, except for wild roses, which are easy to grow. But yes, so I got a story about roses actually. When I was a kid, my grandmother had a rose garden. She never promised it to me.
No, I was just gonna say that.
But
I was literally just about to say that to you.
But she had a rose garden, and whenever we would go to the store, the TG&Y, which was the local dry goods store, if you will, like every small town used to have a store like this. It was like sell a little everything. Right. This is back before Walmart, obviously. Right. But in the springtime, they would have out front, like on the front patio, they'd have these rose bushes for sale. Right. $4 or $5 for rose bushes. And I was a huge fucking fan of anything crazy. Okay. So they'd always have one or two of these crazy colors of roses.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Lavender rose.
Right.
Like a mint green rose. Let's see. Now this one, those were two that I goaded her into purchasing. Mm-hmm. She bought this one on her own, the candy stripe. Mm-hmm. It was like a white and red peppermint.
Yeah, I do remember those.
Let's see.
Crazy colored roses are cool.
Well, they're cool, but I don't know if you're. So I found this because I've dabbled in roses and I've dabbled in goldfish in my life, and I've learned in both cases, yes, things that are huge hybrids, yes, they have weird features, tend to be the weakest link. Yeah, okay? Yeah, that's fair. If you plant a purple rose or a blue rose or a green rose or some shit like that, you're going to get low yield. First off, you might get 2 blooms a year. Right. You're going to have to coddle that thing like crazy. Whereas you just bought what we call around here lipstick roses. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Yeah. You can plant a fucking lipstick rose in your front yard and you can forget about it. Right. And that motherfucker will make goddamn gorgeous blooms all year long. Bam. Or if you get these little roses that grow, I haven't seen them in Asheville, but down there where I live and in South Carolina in particular, these things in a ditch bank, you'll see these fucking pink roses that just grow wild in a damn ditch bank. Yeah. Like no trouble, bam. Like you got roses, it'll make roses all summer long. Oh my God! So where I live, actually, also I'll say this: there's some kind of wild roses that grow in the woods around me. They aren't anything to look at. They're like these white roses, but they're like single petal. Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean? Like most roses are like, more ornate. Yeah, I've seen what you're talking about. Though we have some of those up in our mountain. Yeah. But when they bloom, oh my God, they fill the entire woods with a smell. Yeah. Oh my God, heavenly, right? Yes. There's like 1 week where you'll be I'll be driving around in the Miata and I'll have the top down. I'll be like, oh my God, this is so fucking it smells so good. But yeah, they're not anything to look at, but they smell amazing. They smell amazing. They're right? Fucking perfume roses. So I mean, yeah, roses are a pain in the ass, is what I guess the point of this. Right. But they do smell good, and they And there's some of them that are beautiful. Right. And I have no experience with growing because I'm not good at gardening. Yeah. I will admit that. I'm an indoor kid. Right? I will say, again, native roses are the easiest to grow. But what I will say, part of the reason I do not love roses is because most of my experience with them has been with bouquets, right? Cut flowers. Yeah. And roses, you can put a bouquet of something together. If you use a bunch of different things that are not roses, it will last weeks if you take care of them. Roses 3 days. Roses 2 days later they're like boop. Yeah, they totally fuck you. Also, what's crazy to me is all the symbology in roses. If you send somebody this color rose, it means this. Red and white and yellow and all of that. If you send yellow roses to somebody, apparently that means, can we just be friends? Yeah, it does. It really does.
right, I've got a short list you sent to
why
me.
would I waste money on? Can we just be friends?
You said, and we are getting ever closer to the end of the episode where we're gonna have go ahead, Bill has a pizza.
Oh yeah.
You sent me a short list.
Oh yeah, peonies. That's my wife's favorite flowers. They're beautiful.
They're pretty.
They're hard. Well, they're expensive. Is what like a peony will cost you $12 for one bulb. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But they're beautiful, and they only grow in early May. I want to say early May. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're really pretty.
There's a flower I'm thinking of, and it's not a peony, and it's not hibiscus, and it's not a hyacinth, but it starts with an H, and they're like the flowers. They're like big bushels of like petals. Hydrangea, and whatever your soil is
yeah, it will change the color. Yeah. They're if you have a really iron heavy soil, they're bright blue or dark blue even, and if you have a more
purple even.
a more alkaline soil, they'll turn like a pink or a white.
Yeah. We had blue ones in Atlanta, and they were really, really cool.
No, I love hydrangeas, except for here's what I don't like about hydrangeas, because we got two of them in our yard. In the wintertime, they look like shit.
Yeah.
Like they're a summertime plant, and then the rest of the year they look ass.
Yeah.
Like, to hell with those things. Like we used to have some in front of our house when we lived in Woodfin. And over the winter, they just like skeletons of a plant. Like,
right. They do. They get real spindly.
They just look terrible in the wintertime.
They're like a consistency of straw. Like
you
break off one.
Yeah, you can just snap them off in the wintertime because they just turn dry and brittle. But in the winter and the summer, they're beautiful. I don't like things that I kind of like something that even in the off season is like here's the thing about azaleas. Beautiful blooms around Easter time.
Yeah, we've got an azalea up front.
Rest of the year, an okay shrub.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Same thing with the camellia that I was talking about. Like, it has blooms in there between January and March. It'll have beautiful blooms. Rest of the year, evergreen shrub.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's 100% true.
Yeah, but hydrangea, piece of shit all winter long.
Yeah. All right, so lilies, I think most people can agree lilies
lilies are great. Yeah, everybody loves those.
Like an iris or even a rose, there are just countless lilies.
Yeah, there are tons of different kinds. The Asiatic lilies come in every color of the rainbow. Mm-hmm. Around here, though, daylilies, which are easy to grow. You get your yellow ones, and you get those sort of tiger orange ones that grow in the ditch banks.
The tiger orange
the
ones
native
is what
ones.
I'm thinking of. Yeah, for sure.
Again, because they're native, easy to fucking grow.
But we even in our yard in Michigan, there were a bunch of little clumps of lilies. They were the orange ones. I called them tiger lilies at the time. I have no idea if they were, but I think they were just daylilies, and it's fucking Michigan.
Yeah.
Everything's going to die. You're literally going to die. It's Michigan. Everything's cold and horrible.
No, I mean, I'm sure stuff grows in Michigan. Come on.
Some stuff.
Come on. They got crops there, too, probably in the middle of the state.
They do. My nephew, when he was in high school, used to, this is total sidetrack. My nephew, the corn farmers, they would hire high school kids to detassel the corn. Because if you don't detassel them, they will mate with all the other corns. And you don't want to make hybrid corns.
Yeah, especially not with Monsanto getting involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck that shit.
So all my nephew would go out. He made a lot of money in high school, just going every morning, with wellies and detasseling the shit out of some corn.
Wow.
So, I mean, apparently you can make, but that was in, rural Michigan.
Rural.
And he didn't live in rural Michigan, but he drove through
rural Michigan out there
to do it.
He drove, 10 miles out?
Yeah,
How far you got to go to get to the rural area?
Well,
hellebores, So I see you're highlighting hellebores. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Also called,
I have no
idea. They're also called Lenten rose because they bloom. They're one of the early blooming plants. They bloom at the beginning of Lent.
Oh, gotcha.
And they've got and so the ones that grow in my yard, they actually have a pale minty green sort of flower. It doesn't even look like a real damn like the what I'm saying? It's not even real because it's wintertime and they're still blooming.
Right. That's cool.
But
I like that.
Yeah, Lenten rose, some people call them.
Nice.
A stilby, that's one of those ones that attracts butterflies. It's like a red puff sort of thing. I don't know how to explain it.
They're pretty.
It gets the butterflies.
Google that, and they're pretty.
Yeah, butterflies.
But
Butterflies in
said
your yard.
Astilbe, I would have never pronounced it that way. It's Astilbe.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have pronounced it, but it wouldn't have been that.
Yeah, we got pansies.
Pansies, petunias, and violets.
Fucking pansies.
And impatiens, I would put in that.
Okay, yeah.
Like, honestly, pansies, petunias, violets, and impatiens, I think are all kind of that category.
The things you plant down the side of the fucking sidewalk in front of your house.
Exactly.
Those are all annuals, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And
although we have some sort of fucking violet, I don't know what it is, and we did not plant it, and it comes up every year.
Oh yeah, fucking wood violets. Yeah, those grow around here in this area. They're like, and actually, violets and pansies are related. Yeah. Although the violets can winter and then come back, whereas pansies, they're fucking pansies and they die. No, I mean, but you know what? Actually, what's worse for pansies?
There it is, the slur.
Pansies, actually also. They're not great in the summertime when it gets really hot. They tend to they're like spring and they're like fall. I used to notice this when I lived in Chicago for a minute that pansies, they would plant them in the spring and there they would last all fucking summer long and they would have them until fall.
But then they would die.
Right.
Yes.
But here,
we had a lot of pansies when I was growing up.
But here the summer will kill them because it's just too fucking hot.
It's too hot,
and they're just like, Arr. But pansies are cool because they got a little smiley face on them.
That's
right?
True. That is true.
They're kind of lovely in that way, and you got to give it up for that particular.
Okay, I should have done a little more research. When I was a little kid, we had a bunch of this flower, and they were teeny tiny little white flowers, and they're really popular. Like everybody knows what they are. But I'm not describing them.
Do they look like a pansy?
No, they're very, very, very tiny, and they're really ground cover.
Oh.
I'm gonna Google tiny white flowers, and
let you know what it is.
Apparently, according to this, they're called sweet acyllum.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
it's like a ground cover thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ground cover thing. Let me show it to the camera.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like that.
Yeah.
We had those. Those were ground cover. My mom planted them everywhere. You know what's great about them? If you pick one of the little bunches, your Barbies have bouquets.
Oh yeah.
They look like we would have.
Little
weddings.
What else would make a good Barbie bouquet is during the summertime if you had a lantana. Lantanas, this is one of the cool things. I don't know if you're familiar with this plant. Lantana, it grows like a shrub. But it's got little flowers, but they're tiny little flowers.
Little clumps of them.
Yeah. And you can get one that's got like all the Easter colors.
Yeah.
Kind of mixed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like pink and yellow kind of like together. But they're tiny little itty bitty flowers.
Yeah, good Barbie. Man, when I was a kid,
Barbie bouquet there.
You need a good Barbie bouquet when you're having your Barbie weddings.
Yeah, the Barbie weddings are very important.
I know you had those as a child.
I mean, I had stepsisters, so
that's fair.
I did.
All right, so we are reaching the end of the show. We need to go have Bill Has a Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
We do not have any mailbag today.
No, but feel free to write us about something if you got something you want us to address.
We definitely want to encourage that. Please, you know what I've not used in like years?
What's
like
that?
it even has the wrong time. All right,
we got a scrolling thing?
Yeah, we had a scrolling thing, and I haven't used it
with the wrong time.
With the wrong time.
How about that?
Yeah. But yes, write us, send us a message on Facebook or whatever.
Say address this. I've got a important issue I want you to talk
question.
To. That's how we dealt with the thing with the Greta Van Fleet the other week.
Yeah, absolutely. We put it as we did. All right. Do you have things that are extra?
Not this week. I don't think I do.
All right. No, everything's status quo. We're good. Nothing's extra.
Yeah.
Nothing extra. So what I will say before we close up the show, because I really got to pee, so we're going to go close up the show. Exactly. Next week, which is March 28th, we're going to do a beer episode. We're going to talk all about low-cal beers.
Low-cal beers, because I've been on a diet. I'm trying to, still drink a beer once in a while.
And not to spoil anything, but at one time, low-cal beers were literally only like the macro brewed light beers. But all the cool beer breweries are doing it now too.
They're starting to get into it. Although, like I will say, like some of them, I've had a couple, and some of them do taste kind of like macro.
Yeah, there are a few. They're good and bad, as always. They're definitely good and bad. All right, so that's it. That's it for today. Can you take us away?
Sure thing. Bill's Opinions is introduced. Why do I keep saying that? Engineered and produced.
Too many beers.
It's engineered and produced by Laura Lavoie.
Introduced, I think, is really what you're going for.
Introduced. I'm gonna coin a new phrase.
I guess it's our 80th episode.
Engineered and produced by Laura Lavoie. The opinions of Bill are his and his alone, except for the ones that Laura agreed with, and vice versa. And be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook, and send us an email if you or a text message or an IM or whatever the hell.
Just give us some hate mail.
Yeah,
whatever
tell us you don't like us, or tell us you do like us, or tell us you want to hear us talk about a thing that's near and dear to your heart, and maybe we'll get to it, or maybe we won't.
We will do that, or not.
No, we probably will. We'll put it on the list.
Yes.
If we haven't already.
Hey, we've already talked about 80 different things.
Right.
I think at this point we could use some help.
Right. Like, honestly, we don't give a shit.
Like what are we going to talk about? One day we're going to be like, paint.
Yeah, we'll talk about paint. Goddamn, I got some stories.
Wood.
We all got stories about paint. Probably both of us got some stories about paint.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, if you want to talk about it, just holler at us and we'll talk about it.
That's true.
Anyway, that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Don't hold our sponsors responsible for us because they didn't pay us a dime anyway. We're just trying to help friends out. And,
that's true.
Yeah, anyway, catch us next week, same time, Monday night at 7, and we'll be back, and we'll talk to you again about something new, which will be low-cal beers next week.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm glad we know what it is.
Yeah, for once we do.
Yes. All right, everybody. We'll see you in a week.
Good day.
Good day, sir.